Hello and welcome to the video. This video is about the fact that Neil deGrasse Tyson, an alleged scientist with an alleged PhD in physics, is nevertheless so ignorant and so uneducated and so ungodly that he cannot even scientifically define what gender is. And he says so himself. He admits that he can't define what gender is. How stupid are we in the United States and Western civilization when we actually listen to fools who have PhDs, but nevertheless can't even define something as basic as gender? Hey, dumb fuck! I can go get a third grader with a decent science reader that they used to have in third grade, and ask them to turn to the definition of gender in the biology book, and they can define what gender is for you. The only reason you say that you don't know how to define gender is because you are an atheist and you absolutely hate God. And if you define gender the way God defines gender in the Bible and the way rational people define gender, or used to in the older biology textbooks, if you actually define gender the way God defines gender, you will be forced to admit that homosexuality and other LGBTQ nonsense is wrong. And you will be forced to admit that abortion is wrong and all these other liberal sins are wrong. And then you will also be forced to admit that you have a conscience to God that convicts you that there is a real God. But because you, not only are you an atheist, DeGrasse Tyson, but you hate God, quote, even if he does exist. You've literally said so. I've watched your videos. You absolutely hate God for no reason. He hasn't done you anything wrong. He hasn't done anyone anything wrong. Your problem is you fail to realize that God is almighty and God has the authority to judge the good and the evil of the world. And he gets it right every time. You wondered, why did the church in Spain get hit by an earthquake and all the Christians die in one day? Because Christianity is a false religion, all right? And the real God punished Christianity. I have to tell this to people right here in the United States. Why, when an EF4 or 5 tornado happens, is it always the first thing it destroys is the biggest church in town? I point that out to Christians. Christianity is not the true religion. Christianity is a false prophet who called himself a God man in the flesh, and he went to hell, and everybody worshiping him is going to hell. That's why God destroys Christian churches, because they are not worshiping the real God. They are worshiping the devil. And you think something's wrong with God for that. It's not something wrong with God. It's a bunch of lunatics that are worshiping a man. A dead man, by the way. Oh, I agree. Religion is a terrible thing. People will do anything stupid for religion. They speak in tongues and they admit they don't even know what they're saying. And they go around speaking in tongues and think that gives them some kind of authority over God. And the only thing that does is make them a lunatic. Oh, I agree with you there. Religion is a really bad thing. But there's a difference between God and religion. Religion is man doing stupid things trying to prove himself better than God. That's what religion really amounts to. God is something different than religion. Unfortunately, for your understanding, you don't know the difference between God and religion. You think that God is a made-up fairy tale. You think that's what religion means. No, religion is about what people's works towards one another and toward God is. And unfortunately, it's always perverted. It's man trying to prove himself to God. And God already told man that you were evil from your youth, which we know that. That's why we have laws, and that's why we have law enforcement. That's why we need government. We don't have government because human beings are good people. Human beings are not good people. We have government precisely for the opposite reason, because human beings are inherently evil willfully. They were created perfect. Every human being is created perfect, but every human being, for some willful reason, becomes evil to some extent or another. And it's a willful evil. They deliberately do it. I'm not perfect. I'm sure as hell not a murderer. I'm not a rapist. I'm not an adulterer or a fornicator. But 99% of Americans are all those things. They'll kill their enemy as soon as they think they can get away with it. That's why our murder rate is so high. But yeah, you don't know the difference between God and religion is one of your problems. Religion is man trying to prove himself to God. God is the first cause of all of reality. And he's not impressed by your religion or lack of religion. Unfortunately, both for atheists and agnostics and believers, God is not impressed by your religion. He is not impressed by your lack of religion. Do you understand me? He's impressed by real morality, not religious holy days and going to church and singing stupid songs to a dead man named Jesus. Jimmy Swaggart said he wanted to marry Jesus when he gets to heaven, and I pointed out that that would make him a homosexual, which he claims not to believe in and believe that that's wrong. I pointed that out to him. Donnie Swaggart admits that his own gospel can't go any farther than a dollar bill could carry it. You ought to find that hilarious that the Christian pastors admit they have nothing to offer you. They're just there for your money. That's what religion is. That's not of God. God is an actual self eternal omnipotent being who actually exists.